Greetings, it's me, Jacoroni, and my favourite console was the Wii, as you might know from the Poker Park video I released 2 years ago. Today's highlight is the Subspace Emissary, a replacement to the adventure mode in Super Smash Bros Melee. So with all of that said, let the review begin. The Subspace Emissary begins with a duel between Kirby and Mario, the princesses being their audience. After the contest, a boss fight with P.T. Piranha begins, me playing as Kirby. The boss fight is great, and I saved Princess Peach. The cutscenes and story are very cool, and I love the crossover value of the characters. The first proper level is Skyworld, which is predominantly platforming. All the levels in Subspace Emissary, for the most part, have original enemies, but the level theming was a little light throughout the game. The main flaw with this is the lack of originality in some of the level designs. Items are also not utilised for anything specific besides boosting and key collecting later in the game. Scrolling sections didn't help the game's pace either. However, the story takes branching paths, and it is fantastic to see how these teams meet up to the finale. Level elements are fun to mess around with, and the level design becomes more complex over time. The map is a great way to navigate the levels, making it easier to replay levels. The character introductions were fantastic, the Samus introduction being a highlight. However, it was odd how there were two different Varia suits. The boss lineup is spectacular, being P.D. Piranha, Rayquaza, Porky, Gallium, Ridley, Juon, Meta Ridley, and Taboo. Gallium and Duon were original creations for the Subspace Emissary, and I know this is somewhat controversial, but I think these bosses are excellent and make sense in the plot, although the Mr. Game & Watch and Duon connection thing didn't make much sense to me. They used this weird subspace energy thing throughout the game, it powering the trophy guns the villains use, and also being within Gallium, which is odd. They never really explain this, and it would be cool to see the dialogue in cutscenes, and it would be cool to see voice-acted dialogue in the cutscenes. Like World of Light's first cutscene, some of the villains in the roster become main antagonists throughout the story, which is an excellent concept, and it's cool to see how they betray the main antagonist, Taboo, over time. Taboo kind of comes out of nowhere in the story. However, I like the headcanon of him being the child from Super Smash Bros 64, just maybe manipulated. The cutscene entering Subspace is my favourite by far. The Subspace is the perfect final challenge for the mode. However, after saving everyone as King Dedede, Luigi and Ness, you enter the Great Maze. I handpicked Ice Climbers, Meta Knight, Lucas, and Pit. The Great Maze is a controversial topic in the Smash Bros community. However, I would say it's a decent challenge, but it should be optional. Also, I liked the Habit Stage's remarkable enemy hall transition. Still, at the moment, I'd say the jungle is the best level in Subspace Emissary. The enemies being the main highlight, being actual Mario enemies, like Goombas, Hammer Bros, and Koopa Troopers. After 2 grueling hours of clearing the maze, including fighting a weirdly shadowed Mr. Game & Watch, I defeated Taboo after 3 attempts. Captain Falcon and R.O.B joining the party. The game and its story ended satisfyingly, Taboo passing on at the end. After defeating Subspace Emissary, I redeemed myself for ditching Mr. Game & Watch by defeating Classic Mode, then attempting the boss route. Overall, the Subspace Emissary is an excellent story mode for Super Smash Bros Brawl, improving Super Smash Bros Melee's story mode tenfold. I would argue that Subspace Emissary is an improvement over World of Light, but that's a topic for another day. Additionally, the story mode could have more quality of life improvements, maybe adding the hands and the unlockable fighters of Jigglypuff, Toon Link, and Dwarf.
This hypothetical will have the same roster as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate to avoid wrong predictions.
After the Sora trailer referencing trophies, the Subspace Emissary might have a sequel. Here is my pitch for the sequel to the Subspace Emissary. Introducing Return to the Subspace. The game would take place after the events of World of Light. After being resurrected from spirit form, Taboo wants revenge. After a cool cutscene reminiscent of the previous 2 introduction cutscenes, all the characters would be scattered around the map due to the subspace and Taboo. You would be able to pick where you start, the options being Congo Jungle, Kariki Forest, R.O.B Factory, or Sea of Clouds. The cutscenes would change depending on who you choose. Spirits could return as an optional, and less powerful, replacement to stickers, collected through the levels by platforming instead of fighting characters to unlock them. Merchant spirits would have their facilities placed along the map. Fighter spirits and spirit types would be revoked for simplicity's sake. Levels would be locations from franchises already represented in Super Smash Bros. Assist trophies and items according to the themes of the levels. Assist trophies would spawn alongside items and would let you generate assistance to help you on your quest. New hardware would enhance the game's performance by switching to more powerful hardware, including updated movesets for the characters. Quality of life improvements would be added, and alongside those changes, a Nuzlocke difficulty would join the others. Each stage would introduce a new enemy, displayed here, and some enemies would return through levels. You would have to fight many bosses throughout the Subspace Emissary, alongside mini-bosses. Villains and other story elements would return. Taboo's new goal is to destroy the fighters' trophies for one final time. Trophy guns and the subspace theme would return from Subspace Emissary alongside some World of Light stuff. After beating every level and seeing the final cutscene, the subspace would be open once again. And after a boss rush, you would be able to choose 2 options. You can either fight Taboo and unlock the good ending, but if you want to unlock the true ending, you'll have to beat the Great Maze, which returns from Subspace Emissary. Pyramids and other enemies featured in the Subspace Emissary would return in the Subspace and the Great Maze. The Great Maze would become way less tedious also. After merging with the deceased Darkon and Gleam, you would fight Ultra Taboo. Some mechanics would return from Subspace Emissary. His moveset would be harder and way more challenging than his previous, including elements from Darkon and Gleam's boss fights, respectively. Some mechanics would return from Subspace Emissary and the World of Light. Some enemies changing designs to represent how far you are to complete the game. Before the screen scrolls, a symbol would flash onto the screen, but it would be way less overkill than in Subspace Emissary. Alongside the previously mentioned unlockables, after beating the possessed characters in a fight, you would unlock their trophy. This trophy would unlock the character in the Great Maze, and would be able to also be viewed. In addition, a shop system would be introduced, where you would be able to purchase cosmetics with the coins you gather throughout the game. These cosmetics would majority be brand new costumes for the characters, which you could play with in the main mode too. Other changes would include Kirby getting abilities when inhaling an enemy. Level variety could also be improved by adding difficulty options for the monsters or puzzles, or including a spirits mode. The more options the player has to explore the game through, the more replayability it has, and the better it becomes overall. All that said, thank you for watching my video. The Subspace Emissary has a special place in my heart, and after the Sora reveal trailer, maybe the concept I give you today could happen. If you haven't already, I would highly recommend playing this classic. With all the cutscenes in mind, I give this game a solid 7 out of 10. It has some shortcomings, but I would say it has the best story mode for a Smash game so far, and it was cool to see this whole game unfold once again. It was amusing playing this game, and I hope you enjoy this.